Hi, everybody. I'm Caroline Levitt, the co-founder of Mighty Blaze, and right here with me is Paul, Junior, Junior, and he happens to like smoking cigarettes, but he's not going to do it here. I'm all for the Mighty Blaze, he said, and we're here with all these wonderful Blaze people to celebrate a Mighty Blaze. We have Margaret Pinard. We have Mark Cecil, who we're going to make fun of as soon as he gets off the screen. Mary has her tiny hands. Show off your hands, Mary. This is well worth it. And we have Julie Gerstenblad. Hi, Julie.
Hi.
Hi, everybody. So we are trying to get as many people as possible to come and subscribe to the Blaze because we have so much blazing goodness that you would be like totally, that you would be totally surprised at it. We have author interviews, we all have shows, we all have like all kinds of stuff. And what we're going to be starting with is we are going to be, here's Hank. We also have Hank Philippi Ryan here, who does our Mighty Mysteries. Hi, Hank. What we're going to do is we're probably going to start off talking about what books we recommend. Then we're going to talk about some of our author interviews that we've had, which were so good, including one where I won't say who it was, but we were all sure that he was not wearing pants through the whole interview. Wait.
It wasn't me.
Why
did we think this?
Why do we think this? Because he had a look on his face, and right behind him on the bed, he had his pants lined up and his underwear and clean shirt.
Is this on tape? Can we
So that's
this?
I will tell you privately who it is, but I can't tell you here right now. But anyway, so we want everybody out there, please subscribe. Please post questions in the comment thing. You can ask us anything and we'll be happy to answer it or do it or whatever you need or whatever you want. So I just did my introduction. Now we'll go to the wonderful and beautiful Margaret Pinard, who's going to say something and we're all going to listen.
Sure. Welcome, everybody. I'm the YouTube pusher of the group. So welcome to my domain. This is like my house. Very comfortable here. Nice to see you all. I usually produce for Mighty Blaze. And Hank, let's see if I get the mirror image. Yes! Hank is my partner for Crime Time on Tuesdays usually. So I have some questions that I will be pulling out some names and naming names because it's positive vibes only over here for standout appearances on Crime Time. But I've got some other questions hiding for you all as well. The first one, so I'll give you time to think and then pass the introduction baton maybe over to Mark since he has to go early. But maybe start thinking about, did you make any New Year's book resolutions? And we could talk about that after Mark.
Oh, me?
Is there another Mark in the house? There's a Paul.
Okay. Hi, everybody. Mark Cecil, host of The Thoughtful Bro. Always happy to be with the beautiful, cultivated, literate ladies of Mighty Blaze. I am so happy to be part of this team. It's the greatest team in the whole book world. I haven't been doing a lot of Thoughtful Bro recently, but that's going to change. The reason I haven't been doing a lot is because I've had to turn in my edits for my first book, which is coming out in about a year.
Yay!
About Paul Bunyan. It's a big all-American story about the unlikely but totally necessary friendship between folk heroes Paul Bunyan and the steel-driving man, John Henry. And I have just been working so hard, and I have an awesome editor at Anchor Books. Her name is Anna Kaufman. And the edits have just been going great. They've been super generative, but you got to change some things around, and it's just been a lot of work. So I haven't been able to focus on Thoughtful Bro. But oh my God, I have so many books that I want to read and talk about. I'm going to try to get like Rick Rubin on the show, the great record producer Rick Rubin. He's got a book out about creativity. Paul Auster, one of my real heroes, he wrote this thing called the New York Trilogy way back maybe 20 years ago, or probably more because I was in college when I read it. It was one of the first books that made me want to become a writer. He just came out with a book about gun violence in America. There's another guy I just saw reviewed in the New York Times today. He won the Pulitzer Prize for a book called Tinkers.
Right.
Yes. he has a new book out.
Oh.
And I forget the name of that book, but that was just something I saw today. Anyway, my list of like books I want to have on Thoughtful Bro is about 45 books long over the next 2 months, and I only do one a week, so the math doesn't quite add up. But I will be back. I can't wait to talk to everybody. And there's so many wonderful books out, and I think there's somebody else. There's at least two other people on this screen right now who have books coming out in the next few months. And I think we should pass the baton over to one of them, Margaret.
Yeah, let's go down to Julie in the corner over here. And like the toy cabinet is going to reach down and pull her up and drop her in the slot.
Okay. Hi, everybody. It's true. I have a book coming out, and I'm going to do a shameless plug right now since Mark set me up so wonderfully, and I'm wearing the colors of my book. Look at that.
It's beautiful. It's so beautiful.
It's called Daughters of Nantucket, and it might be backwards on your screen. I don't know. And it comes out March 14th. It's historical fiction set around Nantucket's Great Fire of 1846 and 3 women's lives who intersect, and their personal dramas hit sort of at the same moment that the fire hits the town. But so one of my book resolutions is really to get out there and talk about my own book. Usually I'm talking about other books, and I'm very privately working on my own stories and only talking about them as if it's real in workshop. And now there are going to be people that I don't know reading this book and engaging with me, and it's starting online, and early reviewers and people who have wanted to read it on Goodreads and are signing up to get advanced copies. So it's exciting. And so mostly I'm just trying to stay present and enjoy the time. And I'm not writing a lot, so I am reading a ton. I've already read 4 books this year, and I don't listen to books on tape. I just am not good at that. So they're all like books that I'm reading, sitting on my couch at home, but I feel like that's a great January project. So what I just finished was Dani Shapiro's Signal Fires, and
oh my
book.
God,
Love it.
Like incredible. And what she says at the end that I thought was really interesting, and now I'm going to forget who she said told her this, but it was another author I admire, that telling a story in time order is like too easy, and that you should really try to mess up chronology. And she does it. I was reading it thinking, this is really hard. I don't know if I could play with time the way that she does, and keep this narrative tension and have the characters almost like in the way a mystery, Hank, with you have to think about so many things ahead of time to know how they're going to fit together at the end. I feel like that's what Dani Shapiro has done with this incredible novel.
That was Jennifer Egan who said that.
It was Jennifer Egan.
Right.
I mean, if and you can't think of another person who's better at that than her. I mean,
yeah,
Squad and like mixing up even just form, much less chronology. So it was really it was a hard, story, but it was such a beautiful pleasure to read, and a great winter, like snuggle up on the couch and read it. And now, before I pass it over to Hank, I started today reading, and I feel really like bad admitting that I haven't read it yet. The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo.
Oh, that's a great one.
I know. I've read everything else that Taylor Jenkins Reid has written, and I just missed that one and couldn't get back to it. Bye, Mark.
Bye, Mark.
Did you see how we knew what he was saying? He wasn't even saying that loud, and we were all lip reading him. We're pretty good at that.
So anyway, I'm finally catching up with that one. I'm squeezing it in before getting to like the newer stuff that I feel compelled to have to read. So that's where I am, and I'm having a really great time, not going to the gym and just sitting on the couch and reading.
But
congratulations.
Your book is getting so many great reviews. I've never heard such buzz. And is it true that you're launching in 3 states?
I'm launching in 3 states, Hank. Yes. And thank you for saying that about the reviews. It's pretty exciting. And yeah, so I'm from New York. So I will have a New York launch, but I live in Rhode Island. So I'm first doing the day that the book comes out. I'll be with my friends here in Rhode Island. And the book was written largely in Boston, in Massachusetts, and it's about Massachusetts. So I'll be doing a launch in Wellesley that I hope many of you come to, and Caroline, maybe we'll see you in New York, and Margaret.
Yes, definitely in New York.
And Mary, Chicago.
Yeah, so we're just using this to get together and figure out when we're going to see each other. It doesn't even matter who's here. We need to talk.
But so Hank, I will be coming. I have never met you in person, and I'm coming to your party.
I am so thrilled about this. I mean, it feels like I really know you. It'll be so odd to see you in not Zoom, because we all feel like, I don't think I've ever met any of you.
I've met you.
Met anybody.
Oh yeah, Mary met you in where it was Chan.
I met Margaret. Margaret came to Massachusetts, and she and Trisha and I hung out one day.
It was awesome.
Isn't it strange?
Am I the only one?
And no, I met Caroline, but Caroline didn't know me at the time.
When was this?
At a Reading with Robin event in Rhode Island.
Right,
and it was like a bar, like a Point Street reading.
Right, the Point Street stuff. Oh,
and you spoke, and I was like, oh, look at Caroline Levitt, and it was for.
I hope I hugged you.
It was pictures of you, and I was so. It was
That's
wonderful.
So wonderful. She's wonderful. Reading with Robin is very good.
Yeah, she's great. So yes, I'm launching in 3 states, and now up to you, Hank, because I'm excited. This is what number book for you?
This is book number 14, which is The House Guest.
Wow.
And it is a thriller.
Oh, I love your glasses.
It's so good.
A cat and mouse, two smart women facing off in I love it. Well, see, that's more El Cosimano, right? That's more Finlay Donovan sunglasses. Have you seen those covers? She's El Cosimano. If you haven't read the Finlay Donovan books, you all, they're hilarious. She got the idea, and I promise to go back to The House Guest. I promise I will. But El Cosimano got the idea for her book when she and pals were in Panera Bread talking about ideas for books. And they were talking about how someone could be killed and whether something would work and, what they do with the body. And apparently the woman who was sitting next to them at Panera just sort of got up and went away. I was so upset about it. And later they were talking about it, and somebody at dinner said something like, wouldn't it be funny if she thought we were really hit women and that we were really planning to kill someone? And so that's the opening of the first Finlay Donovan book, is that Finlay is talking to her agent about killing someone. And the woman in the seat next to her offers her $50,000 to kill her husband. And when she says, oh no, it was a book, the woman doesn't believe her and turns out to be like a mobster somebody and forces her to plan to do it. It's great. Anyway, big digression. Anyway,
I love the cover.
Thank you. Do you see the reflection?
That's even better.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's great.
Which turns out to be St. Bart's. But, The House Guest is really about betrayal, greed, female friendship and empowerment, and revenge. So, we can handle all of those things. 2 smart women facing off in a high-stakes psychological cat and mouse game to prove their truth about a huge financial crime. But which woman is the cat and which woman is the mouse? And that's The House Guest. And it comes out February 7th at Brookline Booksmith in Brookline, Massachusetts. And everybody, all of you are invited. I'm so excited about it. Does it get any? I mean, my 14th book, and it just got a star from Library Journal.
Yes.
Binge-worthy. And Publishers Weekly says, Ryan is a master of suspense. So I'm making a t-shirt that says
you should tattoo it on your head. That's wonderful.
We'll never go out of style, right? About tattoos, what if nobody likes me?
But do you do it backwards so you can see it in the mirror, or do you do it forward?
Right.
To have a little self-actualization to remember. But anyway, Mighty Blaze, incredible. And I remember when Jenna asked me to do prime time, and I just leaped up and down and typed at the same time, which was very difficult. But what a joy to be able, we're talking about books, what a joy to be able to, I mean, Mary and Maxwell Gregory are the bookers and the producers, and they have their little claws into every fabulous new book that comes out. I don't know how you guys do it. And that allowed me to read Age of Vice by Deepti Kapoor. Oh my golly. I don't know, Mary, you're dressed to match the cover, right? which I should get up and get. Amazing, gorgeous, huge. It's been described as Succession meets The Godfather in India. And, it really is all of that. And then Jordan Harper's Everybody Knows, which is L.A. Noir at its total best, about a public relations black bag fixer who covers things up. Quite amazing. So books that I might not have crossed my bandwidth necessarily, and that's what The Blaze is so good for. All of our shows on The Blaze are, you think, I don't know, there's so many books, so little time. And when we get to say, look, here is something you should read, it's just such a wonderful way of learning your next fabulous book. So, I do it too. That's how I do it too. I've got to show you. I keep this very high-tech calendar of the shows. I have to see it. I have to
Right
see
there
it.
with you, Hank.
And I have. Let me just show you. Like we
Same
have,
thing.
Yep.
Same thing.
Yep.
All the colors, all the fun. Yeah.
because you need to see it. You
Yeah.
need to see
I do too.
who's next. And we have Julia Bartz coming, and Lexi Elliott coming, and JT Ellison coming, and Bill Landay coming, Greg Hurwitz. Everybody's coming to Crime Time, thanks to Mary and Maxwell. So I get to reap the benefits.
Wonderful.
I get to meet them. Mary, can you tell us your specialties, your loves, your everything?
Yes.
What's going on
Yes, I can.
Okay.
So I am a virtual bookseller for Skylark Bookshop in Columbia, Missouri. And then I do Caroline's scheduling for her. And
Thank you.
oh my gosh, I have been reading some just incredible books. I have to give a little plug here. When Julie said she doesn't listen to audiobooks, which I get, some people, it's not their jam. I love listening to audiobooks because they make my household chores go a lot faster. And if you do listen to them and you are still using that big A streaming service, there's a better way to listen. It's Libro.fm. Libro.fm supports indie bookstores. It costs the same as that other service, but your credits never expire and you can listen across devices. Once you download a book that you've purchased, it's yours. So Libro and best of all, booksellers like me are putting recommendations onto Libro. They have playlists. They are amazing. Small company with a huge reach. So please check them out. And because I'm a bookseller, I do get to read books early. I am currently reading books that are coming out in May, June, July, and even August. And so this one I held up a little bit ago, Goodnight, Irene by Luis Alberto Urrea. He is a Pulitzer Prize nominated author. Did he win one? I'm not sure. A finalist. This book is his love letter to his mother's work in the Red Cross during World War II as one of the donut dollies.
Oh, right.
I don't know what that is.
That drove these huge retrofitted trucks to the front lines and served coffee and donuts to the soldiers fighting. And his mother, she was there at the Battle of the Bulge. It's just incredible. Incredible. The story has me riveted. It is so good. And it is coming out in May, end of May.
Great follow
I've
on
got
to House of Broken Angels, which was amazing.
Yes. Okay, let me see. Stephen Rowley, author of The Guncle and Lily and the Octopus, and the editor, has The Celebrants coming out. This is incredible. I thought he was at the top of his game with The Guncle, and he remains at the top of his game with this book. It's kind of a modern day version of The Big Chill. It's friends. They became friends in college. One of their good friends' death right before graduation has affected them all for, the rest of their lives. And every now and then they come together. If anybody's in crisis, they can pull the group together to help them out. So just stunning work. And that is also end of May. One of the things as a bookseller I try to do is find those books that maybe aren't getting the same level of buzz as other books and bring them to people. That is what I consider one of my jobs. My other job is to read outside my own experience, because my experience as a Midwestern middle-class white woman is a very tiny slice of the world experience. So I do try to find books that are outside that, or books that maybe, like I said, aren't getting the buzz. This is one of the best. It's got to be in my top 20 ever. It clocks in it right at 300 pages. Go as a River by Shelley Reed. Spiegel and Grau, I have to say, every book they have put out since
they're really good.
They curate their authors. This is historical fiction, 1940s Colorado, the little town of, it's called Iola or Iona. I should know this because I used to go by it all the time. I lived in this area that is now underwater, the entire town. They dammed the river and flooded this town. But this book is about a woman, and she's the last woman standing in her family household of troubled men in a troubled town, and it's her love affair and bringing a child into the world. I can't do it justice. The writing is spectacular. I think there was a huge bidding war for this book, huge bidding war. It's already sold translation rights into 26 countries.
Wow.
It's just incredible. And I will be interviewing the author for A Mighty Blaze. Thank you, Caroline.
You are so welcome.
So stay tuned for that. I do get to interview sometimes. Or I'm going to give you one more, and then I'll stop unless there's a lull and you want me to keep going, because I could do this all night long.
We can go all night.
Christy Tate, the author of Group, which was a memoir of group therapy, and she bared it all in that memoir. I mean, there were things I was like, holy moly, good on you for exploring it this way. But the fact that you wrote it down and are touring and talking about it, I was like, whew. I love Christy. I've since met her and gotten to be pals with her. Her next book, BFF, is another memoir, and it is of female friendship and all of the work she's done in therapy to learn how to cultivate her female friendships. She talks about how, we're taught as young women and women getting older how to cultivate and nurture our relationships with significant others, with men. We are never really taught how to do this with our female friends. So she takes a deep dive. I thought this was going to be, kind of a lighter, fluffier book on friendship. It goes deep. It had me examining all of my friendships, going all the way back to grade school, where they are now, how they turned out, what my own patterns were within, my relationships, and women that I let go. I was quick to let a lot of people go. So I really think this is a great book club book, because there's so much to discuss with what Christy's talked about. And this comes out February 7th. And I know Christy will be touring in person and I think virtually as well, but
Nice.
absolutely wonderful.
Yeah, you just
And-
mentioned that one a little bit ago and saying like it was making you rethink everything you'd like ever learned. Like, I was like, wow,
It is.
book. Yeah.
It is. It's really, and I've done some 12-step work on my own, which is I've looked at a lot of aspects of my life, but I didn't really go into that deep dive into those female friendships and what I can do now to be a better friend and to maintain those friendships. We all get so busy. Women are
Right.
busy. So how do we make room for our female friends and to nurture that? So great book. Great book.
So we had a couple more blazers come in, and Ellen, I think, is chomping at the bit, raring at the
Chomping
Raring to
at the
go?
bit. I'm chomping.
raring to go. There we go. That's the one I was looking
We're
for.
raring to
Lost
go.
my metaphors. Ellen, come on, introduce yourself, what you do, and either an anticipated read or a favorite recent read.
Okay, well, Ellen Commissar. I run Twitter for A Mighty Blaze, and that's mostly because I knew Jenna first by Twitter itself and then later in person. And of course, she connived me into doing this, which just didn't take much arm twisting because I love Twitter, and this gives me a good excuse to be on it more than I usually am. And it also gives me a great excuse to learn about books that are coming up on the shows. I have to agree with Hank. I am currently reading Age of Vice, and it's incredible. So I'm not that far into it, but it's really good. And it was on my radar ahead of your show. And then I watched Deepti Kapoor, and she was delightful.
Yeah.
So my list of reading continues. I just ordered Laura Zigman's book. I've known her a long time, and I read her other stuff, so I'm looking forward to that. And of course, I've just ordered Society of Shame, which I can't wait to read. I'm trying to see if I can't get my book club to read it right after it comes out, because it just sounds like it's going to be great. So I've been doing a lot of reading. Yep, there's my husband's cell phone. Thank you. In fact, I had my list called up for a second. One of the books I recently read, which I didn't know that I would love, was Jeanette McCurdy's memoir, I'm Glad My Mom Died, which is really an incredible read from a young child actress who was very visible, very famous with iCarly and her follow-on show. And she has some story to tell. And I didn't realize this, but she had done some essays in the Wall Street Journal. And I guess somebody thought, oh, gee, there's more to this person. It's a really great audiobook because she reads it. And I really encourage people to look at that one. I also did How Not to Drown in a Glass of Water, which I really liked. Very different back to back on that. And the other one, well, right now I'm reading Black Cake by Charmaine Wilkerson,
Nice.
which came out, I guess, last year. And the other one that I really loved was, where is it? I'm looking at my list right now. We Are the Light by Matthew Quick. And got to that book by listening to Mark Cecil and thought, oh my God, he's just raving about this book. It sounds fabulous. So I'm a big advocate of A Mighty Blaze because as a reader, I love learning about new books and learning about authors that I might not know about and trying new genre. I have Julie, your book, and Hank, your book are coming at me soon. I think I might already have a house guest on pre-order. So I'm a real advocate. And on Twitter, I'm talking up the books I know you are all hosting and the authors, but also any author who I've ever met and love gets ongoing love on my own channel, which then gets picked up by Mighty Blaze through the magic of Twitter. So I really love the book Twitter community. And I know there's,
book TikTok coming in big ways and Instagram, but Twitter's got its writer community. And for all of the crazy that may or may not be happening in that medium, for now, it's the only place that you get the same kind of chat going amongst authors and book fans. So first go to the Facebook page, subscribe. We got to get to that 1,023 and beyond, but also sign up for our Twitter because I like to have a lot of fun with it and share a lot of book news as well as.
You're so good at it. You're so fabulous at it.
Thank you. Well, I get to read all the little things that Karen puts out, and then I go and I read all the reviews and the blurbs and get excited about the book. So it makes it easy.
And just to like pile on the extra alternatives, Mary was talking about Libro.fm as an audiobook alternative. I've also got I don't know, can I say GR and people know what that is? Like the Goodreads alternative. It's called Storygraph. And actually, I get a lot of great recommendations from the Blaze as well. So my Storygraph has a tag, and I tag every book that I hear about on the Blaze that I want to eventually read, A Mighty Blaze, so that when I eventually get to it through my hundreds long list of TBR books, I will know who to give credit to, which is really fun. And so I've got some to pull for that question later. But back from the tech aspect, Karen was the next to come on, and then Kimberly. Karen, why don't you tell us what you do for the Blaze, what you're reading, or a book resolution for the new year?
Sure. So I'm Karen, and I've been with the Blaze for a couple of years now, and I love it. I was a bookseller a few years ago, and so this is my way of still having my my toe in the book world or whatever. And so I work on the newsletter here with Julie, and we have a lot of fun with that. And I help with Crime Time. I'm executive producer, and I also set up StreamYard and all that. So I work with Hank and Margaret, which is also a blast.
We cannot live without you. We cannot live without you. You're what keeps that show on the air. I mean,
thanks,
Margaret
Hank.
and I have a great time, but you set it all up for us. I am incredibly grateful.
Oh, I love doing it. I'm so happy to be here, be a part of this world. Books, I love books so much. So speaking of books, I would say that I'm looking forward to Kate Morton's book coming out in, I believe it's April. I'm a big Kate Morton fan. So her book is called Homecoming. And I actually did get to read it on Edelweiss. So I'm super happy that I got to read it. And then also, of course, I am also in the midst of reading Julie's book on Edelweiss, so I'm super excited about that.
I didn't know that. That's great.
And I love it so far. And I have Hank's book here. So
Oh, thank you. I'll send you sunglasses.
Oh, and Karen, I'll send you. That's much cooler, the sunglasses, but I have a bookmark. I'll send you, even though you're reading it digitally.
I love bookmarks. That's awesome. Thank you. And I'm looking forward to, I think Chanel Cleaton's book is coming out in April. And I love her as well. And of course, Society of Shame for Jane Roper and Trisha's book. I think it's Eric Sly, right? Yeah. So I'm looking forward to all of those. So, and my resolution for the year is to read more books. I was slacking a little bit, but this is a new year, so I'm getting back in there, and I'm really enjoying the books I'm reading so far. So I'm feeling that love coming back to me. So I'm happy about that.
Nice. I'm very excited about the Chanel Clayton book. I wheedled into the Patreon book club. We're going to be doing The Last Train to Key West next month, which I'm so excited.
Oh, I love that book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, Karen, my resolution is actually to try to read a little less and write a little more.
There you
I've
go.
done a little bit of writing, but the book, I can't break that habit. I've got two at least going at once. So not sure how I'm going to break away.
So Kimberly is the last to climb in the van here with the band. Would you like to introduce yourself and pick a topic? Recent book recs, anticipated reads, New Year's resolutions. favorite standout guest? I guess we know which one you might volunteer for that.
Everybody answers that one. Everyone guesses the answer to that. Well, hi, my name is Kimberly Hensel Lorance. I am. There I am on the screen by myself. I am one of the co-hosts of Authors Love Bookstores. We broadcast on Wednesday afternoons, and we interview authors and their favorite independent booksellers. What are my goals for the year? Just to keep reading wonderful books, which is obviously pretty easy to do since we meet so many terrific authors through our work here at the Blaze. Something I just read, to do a shout out for the show, I recently read Claire Alexander's new book called Meredith Alone, and we're having her on the show on February 1st. And it's a book about a woman who's agoraphobic and hasn't left her house in 3 years, and why and what happens. And it's really good. And if you like Scotland, it's for you also because it takes place in Glasgow. Yeah,
Margaret, you just blown Margaret's mind.
Not on my radar yet. See, now I'll have to tag it a Mighty Blaze on the story graph.
But it's a very hopeful discussion of trauma and how that changes our lives, and the power of resilience. So we're having her on the show February 1st, 4 p.m. Eastern time on A Mighty Blaze. I can't remember any of the other questions. There were so many of them, and I'm distracted by all your gorgeous faces.
We've got an audience question just in time. Actually,
yes.
I'm saving it. Most looking forward to reading what book this year? So Mary gave us some anticipated reads. Karen mentioned anticipated reads. Anyone else have one that they want to?
Yeah, I do. There's a lot of like great books coming out. The first one is this, Helen Schulman's Lucky Dog, which is really, really great. It's about two different women in the Me Too era. I don't have jackets to show you, but Mona Simpson's coming out with her first novel in years called Commitment, and it's wonderful. It's really good so far. Also, Mary Beth Kane, who wrote Ask Again Yes, has a new one out, The Half Moon. It's fabulous. And I just finished, Anne, I'm going to butcher her name, Napolitano, who wrote Dear Edward, wrote this amazing book called Hello Beautiful. That's just, if you like to sob when you're reading, it's sort of based on Little Women, but not really. And when I heard that, I thought, I'm one of the few people in the universe who doesn't love Little Women, but this book is fabulous. And it made me want to read Little Women again. So all those books are just like amazing. And all those authors are going to be on the Blaze too, so that's even better. Oh, wait. Rebecca Mackay. I have some questions for you. It's a boarding school mystery, but it's much more than that. It's just smart and gorgeously written and just superlative. All the books are just superlative.
Yeah, so she did she came to the Muse in the Marketplace in
She's
2018
wonderful.
and taught, maybe it was 2018, 2019, and she taught a workshop on historical fiction, and I was just entranced, and I loved The Great Believer.
She's
so
great.
I can't wait.
Tiny hands. We need the tiny hands now.
We need the tiny hands now. And since I'm talking, I'm just going to keep talking, and I'll tell you what I'm looking forward to is my friend Annabelle Monahan, who had such a smash hit last year with Nora Goes Off Script, has her second one, and there it is with the tiny hands, same time next summer. And
Awesome.
My little story about Annabelle is she and I were both, moms of kids, very busy, wanted to be writers, signed up for a class at Sarah Lawrence, continuing ed writing workshop on like Tuesdays at 11. And we went around the room and around the table, and everybody seemed so great, but I was like, that one, I want that one for my friend, because she just right away, she's snappy, funny. Everything that I love about her as a person is in her books, and you feel like you know her, and you feel like she's just a person, you just love her. So I'm excited for same time next summer.
Yay.
And Caroline, Dear Edward is going to be on Apple TV starting next month, actually.
Is it going to be?
I know that I'm curious about that because I don't want them to ruin it.
Right, the book was so wonderful.
The book was so wonderful. I just don't. But her new one is even more wonderful. You'll just love it. You'll love it.
Good. Add it to my list.
I'm really excited about Curtis Sittenfeld's new book, Romantic Comedy. I got to read a galley of it, and it's so good.
Oh, jealous. I'm jealous.
So good. And I understand she's coming on The Blaze this spring.
Yeah, she is.
Jenna Blum's going to interview her, so we're really excited about that.
Great. I met her once and I couldn't even speak. It was bad.
I just want to tell everybody out there too, another reason to support the Blaze is because we have all these amazing authors on there. And the thing is, it's not like a regular stiff interview. These are very personable, and you can ask questions and you can really get to know the authors. And there's something really wonderful about listening to an author and realizing that you love the author, that you think, oh, that's a person that I would like to know. And it's also interesting when, we've had some interviews where the authors are very few, but some of them are not that interesting or not that nice. And it's, it's just a fascinating thing to explore. So hit the subscribe button and, join us.
You never know what you're going to get. That's certainly true. I do research before the interviews on Crime Time. I'm looking to see interviews they've done before, besides reading their books and reading their bios and things like that. And Deepti Kapoor did an interview in which she sounded so erudite and so just illustriously elevated that I thought, I'm not sure I'm going to be able to talk with her. And then True Ellen, wasn't she amazing? She was charming
great.
And wonderful and funny.
Amazing.
And, best friends forever. So that's great. The books I'm looking forward to. Julie, hold up your book again.
Yes.
Right up. Looking forward to reading that. You're so color coordinated.
Yes,
that's
with
quite
the matching sweater.
I cannot wait to read that.
Which, by the way, comes from Rent the Runway because I want to be able to wear lots of different things, and I know I'll get sick of clothes, so that's what I'm doing.
Good choice.
Nice.
That's a good
Well,
idea.
what's nice about the Blaze too, I mean, anybody in the book world, and especially during COVID, spent a lot of time watching author interviews. And authors, I mean, I've seen a couple people who've been on the Blaze, and they have their spiels, and they sort of find the right question to throw in this answer. And with our interviews, I don't ever get that sense. I think the questions are good. It throws them a little bit off their game. They can't just, no, seriously, in a good way. They can't just throw out answer 242.
Right.
They've got to really think, and we challenge them. And I've done some author interviews over the years, and they can be hard cats to wrangle. And I think that's one of the neat things is you get to watch in real time our hosts doing a great job of getting new answers out of these people, getting insights. And I love it most when you ask a question and they're like, and they have to literally take a pause because they don't have a canned answer that they can just roll out.
That's
Right.
gold. That's
You
gold.
ready for this, Julie?
I am. I'm thinking
throw
about this. I'm like, I
softballs
think
at
I'm gonna.
you.
I
You're
don't think
getting
it's gonna be like
softballs.
wrangling cats with me. I think it's gonna be pretty straightforward. And I'm excited to talk about and connect with readers. That's like what I was saying at the beginning. That's my biggest goal for the year. And just I actually had to do a Q&A with myself for my website, come up with for a book club kit. And I was like, does somebody do that for me? And they were like, no, there's no somebody.
Somebody doesn't do
I
anything.
asked my editor, I was like, who's doing this? And she's like, if you want one, you're doing
You
it.
do it.
So I was like, so Julie, how do you feel about blah, blah, blah? And I was like, well, that's such a good question,
Oh,
Julie.
man.
Did you
It's
do
such
video?
a wise question.
Sorry, Ellen, what did you say?
I wonder if there's video of this.
Oh yeah, no, there's no video. I can make a little thing, but it was fun to think what people might ask me and try to guess. But I am looking forward to getting out there.
Let me show you a couple of quick things. I'm going to tell you something that you don't know even yet. I'll be interviewing a woman who wrote a book called Things I Wish I Told My Mother.
Oh,
Do you know about this? And her name is
yeah, I've heard about that. Yeah.
Susan Patterson. who is James Patterson's wife, who has come out with a book of her own that is supposed to be absolutely spectacular. So things I wish I told my mother will be on prime time on A Mighty Blaze. I think it's like on prime time.
That gives it a new twist.
Yeah, that's not really.
It has a big twist. It has a big twist.
Wow.
And sometimes what we don't tell our mothers is a crime, right? And sort of crime of the heart, that kind of thing. So I'll do anything to get Sue Patterson. So that would be. I'm very, very excited for you to hear about this book and to meet her, because she's quite extraordinary. And the idea that she would. I mean, her husband has sold more books than anyone in the world, or something like that. And so to say, I'm going to write a book too, is an interesting emotional step. You just might not do that. So quickly, let me show you a couple more quick things that I just have on my desk here. Liv Constantine will be on A Mighty Blaze, who wrote The Last Mrs. Parrish. Have you read this, Mary, yet?
It's the next one on my TBR.
And look
It
at that,
looks so good.
doesn't it?
Love the cover.
Cover with the
Color.
broken window.
It
And then do
matches
you remember
Kimberly's
the violin
background.
conspiracy? What?
Yeah, it matches Kimberly's background.
Ooh,
Uh,
Yeah,
Very well.
it does. Stendhal,
Brandon Slocum.
Yeah.
Brandon Slocum. Yes. Yes.
Symphony of Secrets, the follow-up to the violin conspiracy.
Nice.
Wow, that seems fast. Is that fast?
He was so smart in that interview. I was like, who's this? This is amazing.
I connected him. There's a female violinist that I've heard play with the Kathy Richardson band. I can't think of her name right now, but every time I see her, it's a spiritual experience to watch her on the violin. And I kept seeing her come through my feed and Brendan come through my feed. And so I connected them on Instagram, and I'm like, I don't know how the two of you aren't collaborating on something. I need to see this. So I'm waiting. I haven't heard. I know they connected. I haven't heard if anything's going on, but
You're so good at this. You're so generous, and you know the world so well, and you're just like you need to know.
I love connecting readers and authors and just people who should know each other.
Yes.
Now we know what those tiny hands are for. They're for the puppet mastering, right?
I just have too much time to show you one more book, because you will thank me for this. You will totally thank me for this, and you're going to say, I heard this from Mighty Blaze. Do you know this book? William Landay wrote Defending Jacob. And this is his
right.
new,
I know that book.
and this is his new book, All That Is Mine I Carry With Me. Mary's looking like she knows this too.
It's on my shelf.
Bill Landay wrote Defending Jacob, 10 years ago, 12 years ago, something like that. And this book begins, and he hasn't written for the last 10 or 12 years. Okay, and this book begins, after I finished writing my last novel, I fell into a long silence. You might call it writer's block, but most writers don't use that term or even understand it. And I thought, that's a foreword. I'm going to just go on to the rest of the book. But that's the book. That's the book. It's about a writer who had a hit novel and then couldn't write another book, trying to write another book. He breaks All That Is Mine I Carry With Me. He breaks every single rule of writing that you can possibly imagine. I was reading this going, you can't do that. You can't know that. You can't do that. That's not how a book is. And he has created his own rules for what a book is. And it's still a murder mystery. It absolutely is a murder mystery. But it's so gorgeously structured. I've never seen anything like it. So highly, highly, highly recommended.
Wow.
Gonna have to move it up on my pile.
And I have to move. Can't wait to talk to you about it. I can't, because
It's one of those. All right.
I don't have a pile. I mood read.
Yeah.
Is that an unpopular opinion here in this crowd, or what? Or
I have a pile with which I mood read. How about that?
There you
Yeah.
go.
Like I have a list, a general, whatever, but I have to be in the right frame. And I taught middle school for years, and my big thing, one of the things I love about Jenna Bush Hager right now is what she's doing for promoting reading and teaching the strategies to older people that I was teaching to kids to try to get them to become lifelong readers.
like what?
Like, she calls it streaking, but the idea is like having a reading streak. like that every day you read a little bit. So the homework was read for 20 minutes, read for 30 minutes, read for 35 minutes. And like in the same way that exercise, like you have to kind of do it every day and then it becomes habit. And then reading can become part of your habit. But anyway, there was like a point to that wasn't that.
Mood reading.
Mood reading.
Right. So thank you, Ellen. My other I'm going to have to take you on tour because I'm going to be like that. I'm going to forget.
I would love it. I will be your moderator. We'll have a great time.
That would be so much fun.
Ask Jenna.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we can probably hit some states together.
Okay.
So mood reading, what I would tell my students is, and tell the parents, you need to have a balanced reading diet. You can't always have a steak
Right.
and like a full meal. Sometimes you need a snack. Sometimes you need a little.
Anissa, hi.
Hi, Anissa.
Great. Oh, we love Anissa.
So
And
Anissa
JD
knows
Estrada
all
is
about
here and
reading.
Rachel is here.
Street, you know.
Yeah.
Really, I call that a palate cleanser.
Palate cleanser. Yeah.
You read like a very heavy,
Yep.
complicated book, and then
Yep.
maybe you follow up with a romance novel or something.
Romance or
lighter.
Thriller. Thrillers
Right, or
are
for me,
huge
too
palate
much-
cleansers for
Like-
me because I like the short,
Right.
choppy chapters that they're like potato chips.
And it's a genre that you understand the rules, right?
Yes.
So it's like,
Yes.
I know if I'm reading a romance, there's going to be a happily ever after. So that allows my brain to relax a little bit. I'm not stressed about the book. Does that make sense? So
Yeah,
I would call them palate cleansers.
Okay.
Yes.
But I love that you can read by mood. I used to do that until the Blaze started, because now that we have a show, I have to read the books of the authors that are coming
Right.
out.
Right.
When I do get a break in the show, then I'm like at my ridiculous TBR pile, and I'm like, give them to me. So it's so hard. Can I make a plea to our audience? So on Authors Love Bookstores, we have been working toward the goal of hosting a bookstore in every single U.S. state. We have one state left.
Which one is it?
One state, we have one book that we're not going to do until the summer, but we have one left to book.
Is it still
Okay.
Louisiana?
It is not Louisiana.
Wyoming?
Louisiana today. No, we are searching for an author who's connected to the great state of Indiana. So I know, Hank.
I'm from Indiana.
God, why didn't I?
You never call, you never write.
Ross Gay.
Oh my
Ross
gosh,
Gay.
you did say just that. But Hank has a new book coming out. Okay, Hank, I'm going to follow up with you. Oh, that's perfect. See, this is why I was supposed to bring it up. Okay.
There you go.
Did you say Roz Gay, Mary?
Yeah, he teaches at Indiana.
Oh, okay. Sexy. All right.
See,
Excellent.
Marty Blaze solves your problem again.
Oh,
Twice
Just
over.
give me a little bit of notice so I can get the Twitter going on that. Because that's a big hoo-ha to have the 50 states in PR.
Yeah, we're not going to get to it until the summer.
Okay.
But we're just booking them all right now. But Indiana has been our white whale.
Yeah.
Yeah, the last time I had your list, there were 8 states on that list, and I was like, "How far are we down?" So now the update is 1 left. So excited!
Yeah, we did. We've hosted a bookstore in every U.S. We have or will have by the summer host a bookstore in every U.S. state plus Puerto Rico and D.C.
That's great.
That's
I
quite
wonder, it's amazing. It's amazing.
Should be states.
It's hard to. It's really hard to be a bookseller. I mean, we talk about how challenging it is to be an author and get your book out into the world, but those booksellers, I mean, that's.
JD is asking, so when was Alaska and Hawaii?
We did Alaska last year, and Hawaii is coming up in April.
That's great.
Good question. Thanks for asking it. All right, I see the spotlight to another Blazer.
Oh yeah, you've already done Puerto Rico, right?
Yeah, we did Puerto Rico last year.
Mm.
You can go check out our playlist on a Mighty Blaze Authors Love Bookstores playlist on the Mighty Blaze YouTube channel and see them all.
Yeah. Or I can.
You should
send
talk
it to
about
you
YouTube
on
a little bit. That's why we're here, right?
Yeah. Margaret, you should talk about YouTube.
Yes. So we've added a few subscribers tonight, which is amazing. If they're not in the chat, I hope they come back. My Year in Books asked a very good question, so we selected that as the winner. Send your email to amightyblaze@gmail.com, and we'll hop on to sending you a swag pack, which I'm sure will contain books and bookish things, but exact contents thereof TBD. I just wanted to do one last sort of connection, because when I was brainstorming about recent book recs, I had some that were really standout guest appearances on some Mighty Blaze shows that I wanted to highlight, and one that's coming. So one was Thistlefoot. I don't know how you heard that. It's historical, contemporary, magic realism, Jewish history. It's got all these things, family relationships, and mixed stuff. And Jenna Rose Nethercott was on The Thoughtful Bro.
Yeah.
We didn't make fun of him enough, but now I'm going to shout him out here. And she was just amazing. She was talking about circus stuff. She was talking about all these like hobbies and interesting side interests, and like putting it in a book that's about like trauma and generational processing. And I was like, what? Ah! It was like, it was lovely. I loved it. So Thistlefoot, definitely recommend. And then I just finished This Time Next Year We'll Be Laughing, as she says it, by Jacqueline Winspear. And it is her memoir.
Wow.
And it really gives you a rich detail of like why she writes the Maisie Dobbs series, which if you've watched my channel at all on YouTube, you know I'm obsessed. I recommend her at every opportunity. And she's coming on April 25th to Crime Time, for which I'm very excited.
Great.
Yes, those are my like two recommendations just finished that I loved. Very excited about. Otherwise,
It's also great.
Yeah.
I'm going to just plug it again. We just saw the Penn Awards come out, the nominees, and how many of those authors have we had on our shows? And whenever there's a big list of who are the best books you should have read in 2022, and I go down that list and I can just count them off, and we're there first in many cases. And if an author's not coming to us, they're not getting awards. Let's just put
We
it that
read
way.
them before they were cool, according
That's
to the
true.
awards, right?
I think it is. It's really exciting to see. And then you're like, oh, I remember that one.
Yeah.
So we're doing good in
And
the world.
the beauty of the YouTube channel is that all of these author events and interviews that we've talked about, you're
Right.
like, holy crap, how could I have missed that? I feel so terrible. You haven't missed it. That's why you want to subscribe, because all of these interviews are here forever on our YouTube channel.
Absolutely.
So I love it
They
when
will outlast us humans.
yes, I pull up YouTube on our TV for different things, and A Mighty Blaze is just peppered all through my YouTube offerings, and I love that.
I mean, it's interesting because when you think about it, it's really very profound literary archive, very profound literary history.
Yeah.
To really be plumbing these authors' minds at this moment in their lives and at this moment in our lives. And it's a masterclass. Every interview is a masterclass in understanding why people think and why people write the way they do and why people choose the topics that they do. It's really incredible. It's every interview on every show is one of a kind, and then it's all together in this powerful place.
I'll plug Mark Cecil again with his interview with Matthew Quick.
Yeah.
And Matthew Quick talking about mental health, talking about toxic masculinity, positive masculinity, trauma, all of these things that, and you know, here's somebody else who again had a horrendous bout of writer's block that lasted years. Matthew Quick is the author of the Silver Linings Playbook, for anybody who isn't familiar. And his next book was We Are the Light.
Which
And
is great.
It's just incredible. So it's one of those that there's so much more than those standard author questions.
I have a question for you guys. Has anybody read Demon Copperhead yet? Ellen, you read it? Anybody else?
I did. It's
I haven't read it yet, so I want
it's
to
a
know.
bit intense.
Okay.
It's long in a good way. And we did it for my book club.
Okay.
And I had not read, and I am currently also reading David Copperfield now because she mapped it out chapter
Right.
by chapter, and the names are similar. And I kind of thought, well, gee, isn't that cheating? Isn't that like just it's different than when somebody does a modern take on a Jane Austen like Curtis Sittenfeld has done. But it's really compelling, and I don't know that much about fentanyl addiction and young poor kids who have no way to escape their little town in Virginia, and you get so caught up in these characters that you kind of forget the Dickensian connection. But now that I'm going back and reading David Copperfield, it's really kind of cool. So I recommend it. It's a little bit tough to get into, just because you're meeting all these different characters, and he's a kid who's got the kid Demon, whose name is not really Demon, but that's what everyone calls him. He's a tough character. I mean, he's a sad character, and you're like, your heart goes out to him, but he's also living a life that most of us thankfully don't experience.
Right.
So it has a lot to say about what's wrong in America right now, but in a beautifully written way. And it's Barbara Kingsolver, and she's just, her sentences and her use of metaphor and simile are incredible. And what's interesting is that in the Dickens, there's a lot of that as well. And so it's sort of, she mirrored not only the plot, but also sort of the stylistic emphasis on, wonderful sentences.
Cool.
I would recommend it.
Thank you.
All the book recs, all the best book recs,
recs.
all the best book resolutions, all the best anticipated reads for the year, all the best guests. That is what you will find at the Blaze. So we did have one more question, but I think we're going to be ending the show. So if any of you on the stage right now want to come back and leave a comment, people do that on YouTube. That's a thing. So feel free to come back and look at the questions and answer this. So we have comments instead of live chat. They're separate.
And I'm going to go. So bye.
I have to go to subscribe. The Blaze is the Blaze will be even greater Blaze with everybody subscribing. So thank you all.
Yes. And because we're the volunteer cooperative that we are, that's just like one step closer to having the ability to get some passive income through YouTube, which is most YouTubers' dreams. So help us reach that dream and subscribe, watch the videos. We'd love to see your comments and questions for those special author experiences, and
share our social media with your friends. Get more people watching.
And we'll see you tomorrow on Crime Time for City Under One Roof by Iris Yamashita, which is riveting and fabulous. So I'm going to go read the end of it right now.
Awesome. Thanks for watching, everybody.
Bye.
Bye-bye.